Well, first setting is okay. Well, now let's check it the moment. Well, Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa. I am here with you. Accordance with our titles, yes, today we are roasting Nabi Sinha in the topic of the death of Khameini, and the here keyword is Israel, the war between Israel versus Iran, and here tension between Iran versus United Arab Emirates. And here, when I was checking uh, when I was checking the shorts of Nabi Sinha, here I could find that she is saying some positive points about the topics of the death of Khamenei. But somehow that is a suspicious point that how she said some positive points about the death of Khamenei. Uh, well, look at her points. Okay, now it is the videos. Okay, and here you could be notified at the moment. Well, now it is the starting reactions of Nabi Sinha. Now look at her points. Okay, now here look at her points. Well, here Nabi Sinha says the in the Khamenei regime where women do not know that how what is the freedom of Iranian women do not know. Well, after death of Khamenei, how some Muslim women can be sad after the death of Khamenei, where the entire Iran was celebrating. Okay, now let's take it the points. Now here it is written that बेटे कुर्बान करने हैं जेनोसाइड के लिए. Oh, now in the purpose of genocide, Khamenei eliminate several innocent humans in Iran. But here, according with Nabi Sinha, Iranian women are victim in Iran under the regime of Khamenei. Okay, and here. Oh, nice. Here is the point that I was shocking that how uh, Nabi Sinha starting to speaking some positive points about the death of Khamenei, and here I am realizing that she is just promoting her toxic feminism. Okay, but still, here is the moments. Well, when I was watching the videos, this video contains 160 views, where her average views is almost 300. Well, her average views is 3,000 or 7,000, something like that. Okay, is okay for that. But the point is, Khameini was died in February 28, 2026, and here Nabi Sinha upload the video at March 7, 2026. Okay, and it is the significant moments. Okay, and now when Nabi Sinha upload the video, she is promoting the Iranian feminism at the moment. Okay, but she does not saying that how was going on real life as an Iran when an Iranian man was not safe by Ali Khamenei if and only if Iranian man was intellectuals or Iranian man was in intelligence. Okay, and now let's check it the more points. And now here I would mention like this tense. Okay, and here now here I would write that the departure is Tel Aviv, Israel. Here departure is Tel Aviv, Israel, and arrival is Tehran, Iran. Okay. Well, and now you can see here flying distance is almost 1600 kilometers and the driving route is almost here 2000 kilometers. Okay, and now it is the points to be noted here we could see. Well, here flying distance is 50. Now let's talk about the points. Why Israeli Air Force eliminates Iranian revolutionary terrorist Ali Khamenei? Because in 2024, Ali Khamenei sent the several missiles on Tel Aviv. Actually, Ali Khamenei launched the several missiles on the entire areas of Israel. But I would discuss about Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel, because Tel Aviv is the capital city. Okay, and here now the point is Ali Khamenei want to eliminate the Israeli soldiers, the honorable Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu. Ali Khamenei want to eliminate Chief Israeli Mossad Director David Varnia. It is the points as we could see. But now here in the war between Israel versus Iran, when Iran has been the complete bankrupt, where Iranian ordinary people start to protest against Ali Khamenei just because in the regime of Ali Khamenei, Iranian peoples are going to be bankrupt. Well, here every business resource of Iran, Islamic Iran, has been over in 2025. That is the points. Okay, but still here NabySinha did not talk about Iran's in almost 3 days. Well, NabySinha's channel was started in 2022 and it is 2026. But in 4 years, NabySinha did not mention any points about Iran in her any short video. But suddenly, here, well, the February 2020, from the February 2022 to the March 22. Well, I will take a breath. February 22 to March 22, NabySinha did not mention one word about Iran. Even NabySinha did not mention the words when the date was February 22, 2026 to February 28, 2026. And it is the and in that moment, the persons who contains almost 5 live stream to discuss against Iranian terrorism. Okay. And what about the points? In February 28, Ali Khameini was dead. Well, and now NabySinha contains an opportunity to discuss that how Ali Khameini was dead. Okay. Now I will tell you that how is the points. Okay. Well. And here, say hi. Salam, how are you? Well, and here we could, I am going to mention like this. Okay. Well, here, now let's talk about the Israeli Mossad car. What is the Israeli Mossad car half of weight? That is 1000. That means it is 10 cube. Okay. Now let's take multiplications. Well, what is the current driving distance? I mean, little bit. What is the driving distance? That is 2000 kilometers. Oh, what is 2000 kilometers? That is 2 multiplied by 10 to the power 6. Hence, here we can write 2 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 and here I can write it squares. And now let's take it. What is the moments? It is 4E15E. That means 4 multiplied by 10 to the power 15 watts. That is almost 4 billion megawatts. Say hi. Salam. Okay. Salam. How are you everyone? I hope you are fine. And here, now it is points. NabySinha contains an opportunity that Khameini can be eliminated by Israeli Mossad agent, where Israeli Mossad agent contains a car with the kinetic power of 4 multiplied by 10 to the power 15 watts, I mean 4 billion megawatts. And what is the significant moments? That is because here the velocity of Mossad car would be 2000 km per second. Well, now here is the points. Iran from 1979 to 2026. In 47 years, Iran could not develop a car with the velocity of 2000 km per second, where Israeli engineers has developed the several cars that can contains at least the velocity of 2000 km per second. Israeli cars can drive the velocity of 20,000 km per second. And Israeli cars can drive almost 25,000 km per second at the moment. Now here I am talking about the velocity of 2000 km per second for now. And here the questions of NabySinha, where NabySinha is a propaganda agent of a Muslim country like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Arab Emirates. Here she contains an opportunity to ask the Iranian regime Ali Khamenei that why Iran cannot manufacture a car with the velocity of 2000 km per second. That is the significant moment. Okay. Now, when car contains the velocity of 2000 km per second, here Israeli cars can drive 2000 km in 1 second. But the distance between Tel Aviv and Tehran is 2000 kilometers as a driving distance. And now, well, according with Israeli Mossad agents, here departure would be morning 6 o'clock, February 28, 2026, and arrival time on Iran would be morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, March, I apologize, April, secondly, I apologize, February 28, 2026. Now, in February 28, 2026, departure is morning 6 o'clock, arrival is morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, and then they can eliminate Ali Khamenei by destroying the Ali Khamenei Palace in Tehran, Iran. And then Israeli Mossad agent can depart at morning 6 o'clock, 1 minute 5 seconds past, and arrive on Tel Aviv at the same date, morning 6 o'clock, 1 minute 6 seconds past. And here, that is the moments because of the velocity of 2000 km per second and the kinetic powers of 4 billion megawatts. That is owned by Israeli Mossad car. But Ali Khamenei did not answer that why Iranian terrorists, why Iran could not produce the car with the velocity of 2000 km per second or 2000 km per minute. That would be the question from NabySinha. That was the opportunity. But still that NabySinha completely missed the opportunity, the points. Okay. Say hi. Salam, how are you? And here NabySinha was the pro-Iranians. Hence, in the previous several short videos, NabySinha criticized the cultural festival of Indian Hindu. NabySinha has criticized. Okay, that is the but I personally does not like Durgas or I does not like or the Parvatis. I respect Lord Shiv and Lord Vishnu and Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. In Hinduism, I respect it them. Okay. Uh, Nabisina contains several questions on Hindu festival and Nabisinha bullies the Hindu festival in her previous several short videos. But from January 2022 to the March 7, 2026, she did not mention one word about Iran. But suddenly, she uploads a video to criticize the Islamic Iran in March 7. But where I have criticized Iranian terrorists in se- when I criticize Iranian terrorists in several live streams, I mean 6 live streams from February 28 to March 7th. But now, coming to the points at the moment, Nabi Sinha did not say that why Iran could not produce 4 billion megawatts of kinetic powers of a Mercedes car or Bugatti cars in Tehran. That can be the questions of every persons who support the innocent Iranians. But here, Nabi Sinha talks that why Ali Khameini is against the Iranian women, that why Iranian women, when Iranian women show their hairs, Masha Amini, uh, Ali Khamenei's moral police was persecuting the honorable Iranian women hence and sent them to the centers of jails, prisons. Uh, uh, it was in 2022 to 2026. I mean 2022 to 2025. But in that times, what was the points of what was the points of Nabi Sinha? Nabi Sinha was points that why European man does not support women scientists. Why European man does not recognize Nettie Maria Stevens as a scientist to research on gender chromosome. That was the point of Nabi Sinha. Nabi Sinha's, in December 2025, Nabi Sinha's point was why Argentine man reject a mathematical teachers of the university just because she was a woman. The mathematical teachers was women. That is the points of Nabi Sinha in February 2025, where the Ali Khamenei was persecuting the Iranian women in February, I mean December 2025. But she did not mention it. But when Ali Khameini was dead in February 28, 2025, and in the same March 1st, 2026, after 1 day later, when Ali Khamenei died in February 28, 2026, uh, Iranian revolutionary terrorists launched a missile to attack on Dubai. Iranian, hi. And here the point is, here Nabi Sinha, the Dubai dance bar dancer, realized that we would say against the Khomeinian Iran. Let's criticize the Khomeini Iran. That is the point of Nabi Sinha. Hence, she contests a short video to upload on March 7, 2026, where she criticized the Khamenei misogyny. Iranian Khamenei regime misogyny. She criticized it. Okay. Now here, that is the points as we could see. Okay. Now, secondly, Nabi Sinha did not discuss that why Iran could not produce a car with the velocity of 2000 km per second, where Iranian the cars can be electric cars to be charged with the mineral resource, where mineral resource is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Yes, because here I would mention here most of the agent's points. Okay, and now let's talk about the significant times. Okay, now here let's get times. Here, what is kinetic energy? That is 4 multiplied by 10 to the power 15. Okay. Now let's check it. What is the mineral resource? Mineral resource is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now here I would mention the temperatures. 666 baby, 666. 666 baby, 666. Okay. Now here the when the mineral resources, electrical mineral resources, artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Here, what is the specific heat of the artificial solar arc reactor? That is 15,408 joule per kilogram per Kelvin. And now, here we can see how much weight of artificial solar arc reactor is required. That is 3.898 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 658 kilograms, where fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. It is the points. Now the weight is lighter than 1 picograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And that is the moments. with the electric charging mineral resource of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius with the weight of 3.898 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 658 kilograms of weights, car can drive 2000 km per second to eliminate Iranian terrorist Ali Khameini. Okay, but Israeli men can do it at the moment. Now, it was an opportunity for NabySinha to ask the Iranian terrorist Ali Khamenei's regime that why Iran cannot produce their own car with the velocity of 2000 km per second or 2000 km per minute. That is the questionable points. And the question is legitimate, but I think the NabySinha were too busy to criticize the Hindu festivals where she living in pro-Indian Dubai. That is the points that why I hate feminism and I support misogyny. Okay. Now here it is the point of us. Okay. Well. Now here my points is NabySinha's my second point I would discuss. Well, let's talk about here fighter planes. Well, what is half of weight of Israeli fighter planes? Israeli F-16 fighter planes half of weight is 10 to the power 5 kilograms. And what is the driving distance? Driving distance is 1600 kilometers. What is 1600 kilometers? That is 16 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 meters. Okay. Now what is driving distance square? That is 16 square multiplied by 10 to the power 5 square meter squares. Okay. Now let's take it. What is 16? That is 2 to the power 4. Well, 16 square is actually 2 to the power 8. That is 256. 10 to the power 5 square is 10 to the power 10. Now here, what is the multiplications of 10 to the power 10 and 10 to the power 5? That is 10 to the power 15. And here, in that points, Israeli F-16 fighter planes kinetic power is 256 billion megawatts when Israeli F-16 fighter planes is flying 1600 kilometers in 1 second. Okay. And that is the momentum at the points. And now it was an opportunity for NabySinha to ask Iranian terrorist Khameini regime that why Iran could not produce an Sukhoi 37s or Iranian fighter jets with the velocity of 1600 kilometers per second. Why Iranian cannot do this? That can be opportunity questions from Nabi Sinha as she contains the opportunity. But why Nabi Sinha did not ask the questions about Iranian fighter jets with the velocity of 1600 km per second. That means uh, Nabi Sinha was criticizing Ali Khamenei's regime just in the cause that how was Ali Khamenei. Well, my English is breaking. Well, Nabi Sinha is criticizing Ali Khamenei just because Ali Khamenei were persecuting the Iranian women with moral police, with the help of moral police of Iran. But Nabi Sinha cannot contain and courage to criticize Ali Khamenei that why Ali Khamenei could not contain Iranian fighter jets with the velocity of 1600 km per second. Okay. Now, here are the points. When Ali Khamenei would contain the Iranian-made fighter jet with the velocity of 1600 km per second, here that is the probability that Ali Khamenei regimes would be eliminated in 1981. Because of every scientific points, Ali Khamenei would be questioned. And in that moment, Ali Khamenei would be questioned in every scientific points by innocent Iranians, hence particularly innocent Iranian men. And here we know that a man is scientific. Well, a man loves. Well, it does not matter if it would be Israeli man or Iranian man. Well, Iranian man can love the Sukhoi 37 fighter jet with the velocity of 1600 km per second. But what Iranian man contains? Iranian man contains Sukhoi 37s with the velocity of with the velocity of 200 km per hour as a Iranian man's contains. Hence, now it is too slow because 200 km per hour means Sukhoi 37 can fly 1600 kilometers to attack on Tel Aviv in Israel in the travel time of 8 hours. Okay. And here it would not be a surprise attack, and in the flying points they would be exposed by Israeli Mossad agents. That is the significant moments. Well, that was an opportunity to informative question to Ali Khamenei, where opportunity is owned by Nabi Sinha. But why Nabi Sinha did not ask the scientific points to Ali Khamenei, where scientific point is Iranian Sukhoi 37 with the velocity of 1600 kilometers per second. That is the geopolitical scientific questions. Okay. And now let's check it. We have been discussed about the Sukhoi 37's velocity and timings. Well, now let's time at the points. Okay. Now, Israeli Jewish men depart Tel Aviv, Israel at morning 6 o'clock, 20, February 28, 2026. They have arrived on Tehran, Iran at morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past February 28, 2026. Hits. And eliminate Ali Khameini. And here we, but what if Iranian Sukhoi 37 made by Russia, Iranian Sukhoi 37 would fly to eliminate our honorable Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu? Then what would be the points? The point would be the very significant. Well, here flying distance is 1600 kilometers. Okay. Now, Iranian Sukhoi 37's departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, February 28, 2026. But arrival on Tel Aviv would be the afternoon 2 o'clock, February 28, 2026. And that is the significant points that how it is a moment the Iranian Sukhoi 37s were almost 8 hours late in accordance with the compares with the Israeli F-16 fighter planes. And that is the opportunity to be questioned to Iranian Khameini regime by NabySinha. But what if NabySinha asked the real questions, scientific questions to Ali Khameini? That means NabySinha would promote the misogyny, because generally man's love with the velocity of what? Man loves the velocity of 1600 km per second, where departure is Tel Aviv, Israel, and arrival is Tehran, the capital city of Iran, or departure is Tehran, the capital city of Iran, and arrival is Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel. Well, man loves the fighter jet with the velocity of 1600 km per second. Well, and what is women's points? Women likes the fighter jets with the velocity of 200 km per hour. And here, when NabySinha asked Khomeini regime that why Iranian Sukhoi 37 cannot contain 1600 km per second in lieu of 200 km per hour, that is promoting misogyny. And here, why that is promoting misogyny? Because man loves to hard work, man loves to high speed, and man loves to arrive the destinations in 1 second, where distance between departure and arrival would be 1600 kilometers. But now, here, when if that can be asked by NabySinha, that means NabySinha promote misogyny. Okay. Now, I have discussed the times. Okay, of F-16 fighter planes or Sukhoi 37s. Okay. Now let's talk about Sukhoi 37's fuel systems. Okay. We know that Sukhoi 37's fuel system is petrols, where Sukhoi 37 is owned by Iranian Revolutionary Air Terrorist. Okay. Now let's check it the points. When Sukhoi 37's fuel is petrol, then what if Sukhoi 37 contains the velocity of 1600 km per second, or what if Sukhoi 37 contains the velocity of 200 km per hour? Okay, let's get facts. What is 200 kilometers? That means 2 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 meters. Okay. Now let's get started at the significant points. As we can say the journeys, here, what is the moments? I would discuss accordance with Sukhoi 37s. Well, what is 2 square multiplied by 10 to the power 5 square? That is 4 multiplied by 10 to the power 10. 10 to the power 10 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 is 10 to the power 15. Okay. Now, when Sukhoi 37 contains the velocity of 200 km per hour, hence the point is here I could discuss the kinetic powers would be 4 multiplied by 10 to the power 15 divided by bracket of 36 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6. Okay. And here we can see these moments. Now let's check the divisions. Now it is 3600. Now here we can say the squares, the moments, multiple by what's the volumes? Well, 100 multiple by here 100 multiple by 0.778. Okay. Now let's check it. Now when it is 3.97 million liters of petrols. Okay. Well, here when Sukhoi 37 contains the velocity of 200 km per hour, here kinetic energy is 4 multiplied by 10 to the power 15 divided by 36 square divided by 10 to the power 6. And here, that is the point. Well, where equations of petrol volume is here, kinetic powers, kinetic energy divided by here specific heat of petrols divided by petrol temperature difference divided by here density of petrols. Okay, and that is the significant points. Well, now here, what is the calculations? That is 4 multiplied by 10 to the power 15 divided by bracket of 36 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6 multiplied by 0.7778 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 50, where density of petrol is 0.7778 kilogram per liters. Specific heat of petrol is 2 joule per kilogram per Kelvin. Temperature difference is 50 degrees Celsius. Well, and now, hence, the answer would be 3.97 million liters of petrol. That is almost 4 million liters of petrol. It is for 200 kilometers in 1 hour. Okay. What is 4 multiplied by 8? That is 32 million liters of petrol. As 4 multiplied by 8. 4 million liters of petrol multiplied by 8 hours. That is the significant choice. Okay. Now here, Russian Russian government does not allow Ali Khameini to contain 32 million liters of petrol as of 200 kilometer per hour of velocity, because if 32 million liters of petrol would be in here is probability that Sukhoi 37s would be in the radars of Israeli air defense systems. That is the point. Hence, well, here we could say the system at the moment. But what if the kind of velocity would be 1600 kilometer per second? And here I would discuss that what is the difference between Israeli F-16 fighter planes versus Iranian Sukhoi 37s. First of all, let's get the points. Well, when the velocity would be 1600 kilometer per second, here kinetic power is kinetic energy, and kinetic powers I have discussed, that is 256 billion megawatts. 10 to the power 5 square is 10 to the power 10. Multiplication of 10 to the power 10 by 10 to the power 5 is 10 to the power 15. Okay, that is the finds. Kinetic energy is 256 multiplied by 10 to the power 15. And here, that is the significant points. What is the difference between full system of Israeli F-16 fighter planes versus full systems of Iranian Sukhoi 37s? And here, where velocity would be same. Well, and now, where velocity would be same, here that can be significant moments. Okay, now here I will talk you the points. 256 256 multiplied by 10 to the power 15. Okay. Now let's we can say what is the divided by. Well, it can be divided by almost. Well, now let's talk about 100 multiplied by 0.2 uh, 7778. Okay, and now let's check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that would be almost 3.3 quadrillion liters of petrols also as Iranian Sukhoi 37s. But what about Israeli F-16 fighter planes? Okay, now Israeli F-16 fighter planes is 256 multiplied by 10 to the power 15. Now let's divide it by bracket of specific heat of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius multiplied by its temperatures, and where specific heat would be artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius is 15,408 joule kilogram per kelvins, joule per kilogram per kelvins. Here temperatures I have mentioned. And now let's check it. What is the answer? The answer is 2.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 656 kilograms. Okay. Now here we can see the points. When we are talking about Israeli F-16 fighter planes, here Israeli F-16 fighter planes contains the velocity of 1600 km per second, and in these points, when fuel system is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius, here fuel weight requirement is 2.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 656 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. That is the requirements of Israeli F-16 fighter planes. But when we are talking about Sukhoi 37s with the velocity of 1600 km per second, it requires 3.3 quadrillion petrols. And here the point is, when today's times petrol cost is $1 per liters, hence Iranian Sukhoi 37's fuel requirement is 3.3 quadrillion United States dollars. Okay. Now here is my question is, why NabySinha waste the opportunity to question Iranian terrorist Ali Khamenei to contain Sukhoi 37 with the velocity of 1600 km per second with the fuel system as artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Why NabySinha did not ask Ali Khamenei? Because if NabySinha asked the real questions to Ali Khamenei, that means NabySinha would promote the misogyny. Okay. Well, now here I would say that what is the definition of misogyny in here. Definition of misogyny is just supporting the efficient genders, but supporting the highest capable gender. Well, misogyny, in their misogyny, is to support the particular gender that person can manufacture the fighter jet with the velocity of 1600 km per second with a fuel system where fuel would be artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Earth. It is it is the real questions that is with the opportunity owned by NabySinha. But when NabySinha asked the real questions, that means NabySinha would promote the misogyny. But here NabySinha's channel is dedicated to promote feminism, where her feminist channel's name NabySinhaTalks. Okay, here she promotes only feminism. She does not like a gender equality. She hates misogynist man. Okay, and here I think two of live streams I have roast NabySinha because NabySinha misled us the definitions of feminism, and she claims that feminism does not hate man as her claims, where real definition of feminism is just opposite of her claims. Okay, now let's talk about the Israel versus Iran wars, where probably that is almost end the moments. Here, what is misogynist questions? The misogynist question to Ali Khameini is why Iran can not produce a fighter jet with the velocity of 1600 km per second with a fuel system of artificial solar arc reactor with a temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And what is the feminist questions? The feminist question is why men torture women. Okay. Now here, when the question is why Ali Khameini persecuted the Iranian women, hence the ordinary Iranian would believe that pro-Palestinian men persecuted pro-Palestinian women. Hence, here the narrative would be pro-Palestinian Iranian persecuted pro-Palestinian Iranians. Well, here that can make sure the statements would be every Iranian person, humans are criminals, every Iranian humans are terrorists. But when she did not ask Ali Khameini the real questions, where real question is why Iranian fighter jet cannot contain the velocity of 1600 km per second with the fuel system of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. That is pure scientific. And now we know that who is the scientific nations in the Middle East. Israel is the scientific nations in Middle East. But when uh, Iranian Khomeini regime would follow to search the answer of the scientific answer of the scientific questions, ultimately Khomeini regime would support the Israeli science. And in this sense, communism has started with the propaganda of pro-Palestinian terrorism. But when regime would be scientific, here communism would be automatically dead. And in this times, none of Iranian innocents can support the communism. Here, communism would be collapsed immediately. Well, that is the points. Here we could see the moments. Well, in December 2025, NabySinha say the several points. NabySinha promotes Maria Teresa Ferrari. NabySinha promotes Lise Meitner. NabySinha promotes here Native Maria Stevens. But NabySinha did not ask the scientific geopolitical question to Iranian terrorist Ali Khamenei regime. Because when NabySinha would ask a scientific questions to Iranian terrorist Khamenei regime, that I have mentioned that what is the questions, scientific informations. Here NabySinha would promote the misogyny, that is the scary for NabySinha. Here, when NabySinha, in the criticism of Iranian terrorist Ali Khamenei, NabySinha just mentioned how Khamenei regime tortured women, but she did not mention that how Khamenei regime tortured ethical scientific Iranian man. Hence, NabySinha did not mention. Okay. NabySinha did not question that why Iranian officials states that they were defeated in Israel versus Iran war 2025 just because of Israeli black magic. Okay. Well, NabySinha did not question to Khamenei regime that why Khamenei regime mentions Israeli black magic in the topic of Israel versus Iran war, or why Khamenei regimes are not scientific. That is the real question, but NabySinha did not ask it. But when NabySinha would ask it, that means she would promote misogyny. She would not promote the feminism, where feminism is anti-science and misogyny is scientific. Where feminism say Israeli black magic, misogyny believes Israel is a scientific country. When feminism states Israeli F-16 fighter planes contains black magical powers as a traveling. Misogynist states Israeli F-16 fighter jet traveling with the velocity of 1600 km per second is pure scientific. Well, and that is the point that all here Nabi Sinha did not mention the real question to Ali Khamenei. And now here I would tell you that now why Nabi Sinha upload a short video on March 7, 2026 just to questions Ali Khamenei. I mean just to criticize Ali Khamenei because in March 1st, 2026, here we could notify an Iranian missiles attacks 10 meters near to Burj Khalifa. Well, Iranian missiles attacks 10 meters near to Burj Khalifa. And now, let's check it. What is the distance between Dubai, the city of United Arab Emirates, versus Tehran, the capital city of Iran? That is the points that can be questions. Okay. And here we can notify this. Okay. Now here we can see. Here I would write Dubai. Dubai. Dubai, Arab Emirat. Now let's check it. Here are the significant points. The flying distance is 1236 kilometers. That is almost 1300 kilometers. Okay. Now what is 13 square? That is 165. And what is 10 to the power 5 square? That is 10 to the power 10. Okay. Now 10 to the power 10 multiplied by 10 to the power 10 cube multiplied by 10 to the power 10 is 10 to the power 13. And here we can see the points. But what is half of weight of Iranian missiles? That is 14,000 kilograms. Okay. Now here we have to calculate what is multiplication between 45 by 169. And here the calculations, we have missed the points. Well, 169 multiplied by 45. That is 7,605. Well, that is almost 7,700 like that. Okay. Now, what is 10 to the power 13 multiplied by 10 cube? That is 10 to the power 16. Well, kinetic powers of Iranian missile is 7.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 16 watts. That means 77 billion megawatts contained by Iranian missile to attack on Dubai, the city of United Arab Emirates. Well, Iranian terrorists launched the missile to attack on Burj Khalifa's, 10 meters near to Burj Khalifa with the kinetic powers of 77 billion megawatts. When Bujko, the Iranian missiles with the kinetic powers of 77 billion megawatts with the velocity of 1300 kilometer per second attacks on uh, the place 10 meters near to Burj Khalifa. Here, every Dubai mans are scared. Well, every Dubai innocent civilians are scared, and here it is the security threats on the entire Dubai by whom Iranian terrorist Ali Khamenei. And here in the buildings of NabySinha, several neighborhood pressures NabySinha to say against Iranian terrorists. And the pressure on the NabySinha is like that. If NabySinha would not criticize the Ali Khamenei regime, or if NabySinha would not support the Israeli regime, I mean Israeli armies, to support Iranian innocent men and Iranian innocent women, then NabySinha would be at the death penalties, as we can see. Now, when NabySinha promotes gender changing missions by Nettie Maria Stephens, that was not problematic for Dubai. But when Dubai is under the threat of Iranian terrorist missile, when Dubai for a few months, temporary times, NabySinha got a pressure that if she would not say against Khameini regime, that she would be death penalty persons. I mean, she would be sentenced in death penalties. Hence, she is pressurized. I mean, she is pressurized to criticize the Ali Khamenei regimes. Otherwise, you did not see her to criticize Iranian regime in 3 months. Where in 3 months, I have criticized several Iranian regime. I mean, I have criticized the several times. I have criticized the Iranian terrorists. Okay. Now my English is being weak. I have criticized Iranian terrorists in from 2025 to 2026. In 1 year, I have criticized Iranian terrorists in 30 live streams, but in 1 year, NabySinha did not criticize Iranian terrorists. Okay. I have criticized Tulsi Gabbard because of being the spy of Iranian terrorists, and 3 times. Where 3 live stream is from February 28, 2026 to now. And I have criticized almost 7 live streams. I have criticized Tulsi Gabbard to the points where Tulsi Gabbard is pro-Iranian regimes. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is pro-Iranian terrorist, that she requires the Iranian terrorists to establish Sharia in United States of America, particularly Sharia in the family of Elon Musk. But Nabi Sinha, in that time, Nabi Sinha did not question the Iranian terrorist regime. Okay. And now, well, I have criticized what is the Sharia law. Sharia law, in the Sharia inheritance law, where 100 billion United States dollars of wealth, here one son can get 66 billion United States dollars, daughter can get 34 billion United States dollars, where son can manufacture car with the velocity of 2000 km per second. Daughter can manufacture the velocity of 80 km per hour. Okay. Here I have criticized the Iranian Sharia law in several times. But in that point, Nabi Sinha did not criticize the Sharia law of Iranian Islamic regime. But when Iranian missiles attacked the place 10 meters nearest to Burj Khalifa, well, Nabi Sinha is pressurized to criticize the Iranian terrorist. And that is the significant point. Okay. Now here we can see the moments. Well, I would condense the part 2 of live streams, but here I would try to discuss about the points. What if the flying distance would be 10,000 kilometers or flying distance would be 20,000 kilometers? But here my topic would be United States versus Iran. Here, why did not, here I would mention the second point, that why did not Nabi Sinha ask the logical question to Iranian terrorist. Okay. Now see you then. Khodafez. Love you. And now I think their videos would be, live stream would be less than 50 views. Okay, now, well, here I think my aura has been finished. See you then. Khodafez. Love you.